I'm not a lawyer, but this is the part 3 recap of the state of Ohio versus Quinton Nixon. Ciao. So on day 4 of the trial, the state rested their case, and for the presentation of the defense's case, Quinton Nixon says he wants to testify. Now, if you're wondering how a pro se defendant, aka a person representing themselves on trial, testifies in a case, one option is narrative testimony. Basically, he just gets to talk. So Quinton Nixon starts off his testimony detailing what happened the day before the incident occurred. He says that Angel McClain, who again is the owner or renter of the apartment, picked him up and brought him back to her place.
We went back to her house. That's when I had met Adam Wright. I didn't know that he was Angel's ex-boyfriend. At the time, me and Angel hadn't really spoke on us like being a thing. She testified that she called me her nephew. As the days progressed, that went out the window. Adam had asked us to take him to Brian's house.
To make sure you are keeping up, Angel again is the owner of the place. Adam is her ex, who is also at the house. And then there's Tony Westover, who is the woman that was unalived in this case. And there's Brian, the man that Quinton just mentioned, and he is Tony's boyfriend.
And at the time I didn't know, never been there, I don't know Brian. So we drove him out there, and on the way there, Angel's like bugging out, saying they're gonna kill him. I don't think this is a good idea. Adam is telling me like, yeah, it's my guy, but I stole his car, went to Alabama. Me and the girl fell out who we had the car, and the car got lost. And I guess a picture of Brian's kid was in the car. I guess that's where the beef started between them two. And because I guess Adam stated that Brian felt like he stole from him, something of that nature.
I didn't include this in my previous recaps because at the time it didn't make sense, but both Brian and Adam testified that there was some sort of beef between the two of them that had to do with the picture and the car. And Adam really did go to Brian's house to squash that beef. So at least some of what Quinton is saying right here has been confirmed by other testimony.
On the way there, he was telling me how, yeah, dude is crazy. He was stating that Brian was aggressive. So we get there, I look at Adam and I say, I don't think this is a good idea, bro. He said, y'all can just pull off. I'll call you if I need you. An hour went by. So Adam gets back in the car. I'm in the front seat. Angel's driving. And then we about to pull out. And then Brian gets in the car. And I guess I give Angel this look like, and she gives me a look like, she didn't object to it though. Like she was cool with it. Brian gets in. He looks at me, asks me who I was. I told him who I was. First thing he said was, oh, I see you got a lot of jewelry on. I said something of the nature, yeah, I do my thing. Somehow, some way, he's like, I want to come back to the house and kick it with y'all. No one objects to this. We hadn't talked if they squashed the beef or not. So it's like, I guess, on assumption, if you cool with him coming back to the house with us, everything cool. So we rode back. Adam sits down, and Brian's attention, like, it just locks on me, kind of. And I guess he's like trying to feel me out. That's when he brought up that he rapped. Then it went into us freestyling. Angel kind of left me alone with him. Adam's in the living room, not paying attention to us, which was weird because you just said that this guy, you thought he was going to, well, Angel thought he was going to kill you or whatever, and y'all had beef or whatever. So at this point, his attention is on me. We sat there and rapped for like 2-3 hours. He ends up leaving. I'm not sure if I went and stayed the night in Angel's room or I slept on the couch. Woke up the next day, me and Angel were in her room listening to music, and I was just basically speaking to her, letting her know like, yeah, I like you. I've been liking you. Some people call it running game, I guess.
Now, I sat through all of this to make sure you got this recap, so you better keep watching. So at this point, Quinton mentions his uncle had come over, and there seemed to be something happening between that uncle and Adam.
Him and my uncle went into the kitchen and spoke privately about something. I went to the bathroom to use the bathroom. They didn't have any toilet paper, so I was stuck in the bathroom. So I'm screaming to anybody that's out there, like, I need some toilet paper. But as I'm waiting, I just hear it's real quiet out there. Like, it's real quiet out in the living room and in the kitchen where they were talking. Now, I know that Angel's in the kitchen and she's cooking, but it's weirdly, eerily quiet out there. Long story short, they finally come with the toilet paper, come out the bathroom, and after washing my hands, and my uncle ends up crying. He's crying for some reason. I don't know why he's crying. I'm asking him, what's wrong? He's not telling me. It didn't put me on alert. It made me feel weird. Like, I couldn't tell you, like, why are you crying? What did you do? That's basically what I'm asking him. Like, what did you do? Why are you crying? He's like, nothing. I'll talk to you about it later. So he ended up leaving in the car. I end up going back into the apartment. I go in the house and I tell Angel, I'm like, I told her what just happened. She's like, yeah, your uncle been on some weird stuff lately, da-da-da-da. He gets real nervous around my people. She was talking about Adam, Ed, Ron, Brian. These are all her people. Adam interjected and said, don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. I'm like, what you mean don't worry about it? He's like, no, your uncle owed us some money or something. I never ended up seeing my uncle after that. He didn't come back to the home that night. He was gone. So I felt kind of weird, but my trust basically was in Angel. Mind you, like I said, I've known her for a couple of years. She dated my uncle's brother, so it was kind of like a family thing, but I was attracted to her. No disrespect. I was trying to have sex with her. So we ended up eating dinner. She said, I'll be back. I'm about to run and go grab cigarettes or whatever. So I was in her bedroom. I hear the door open. I come out, and it's Brian. Brian comes in. He's like sketchy, real weirded out type. He comes in talking about he thinks his girl is trying to set him up. Mind you, I don't know who this girl is. He's talking about some spy app. Like, yeah, you can clone somebody's phone to see what they're doing on their phone, da-da-da-da. He's like, matter of fact, you got your phone? I'm like, yeah. He's like, let me see your phone. I gave him my phone. He's like, you probably got the same app on your phone. You don't even know it. Angel probably put it on yours. I would say like almost a good hour. He was talking to me about a spy app. That's when Adam made the comment, like, how did you get over here, bro? He's like, oh, I got Tony in the car. Adam told him to call Tony up.
This was also stated in other testimony that Brian was in the house, apparently talking about the spy app, while Tony, his girlfriend, was waiting in the car for about 1 hour before he finally tells her to come inside.
Brian had already been in the home for at least an hour. I could visibly see the gun on his hip. Adam has his gun. He's walking around with it in his shoulder, like under his armpit right here. He told Brian, like, you're tripping, bro. I told him he was tripping too. I'm like, yeah, I ain't got none of that on my phone. So he's like, I bet you that app is on here. I bet you it. And at that time, I'm like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about. You tripping. Give me my phone back. He was like, hold on, wait. I'm about to show you. So he kept looking for the app. In my head, I'm like, man, is you trying to put it on my phone or something? Like, it's not on there. I don't let people see my phone like that. He's like, you never know. Angel might have put it on your phone. Tony comes in. And then right after Tony comes in, Ron and Angel come back from the store. Tony just came up. He introduced her as his girl. Adam's gun is now sitting on the ledge of the couch, the arm on the couch like this. Brian is still talking about this app. Tony has her phone out. She's like this. And she's scrolling. Adam's gun is right here on the edge of the couch. Brian is right here, and he's talking to me and Adam at the same time. He was saying the app on my phone the app that he thought was on my phone was connected to the police, saying that I was the police. I'm telling him like, nah, bro, you tripping. I'm not the police. I don't know about that app. So I asked him for my phone back. He was like, hold on, I'm gonna show you. It's on your phone. I bet you it's on your phone. He kept saying, I bet you got that app on your phone. He said something to Adam of the nature like, yeah, people be tripping, bro. People really be the police. And you don't even know it. Mind you, I don't know Adam. I mean, I don't know Brian. I don't know what he's into for real, except for when Angel was crying that when we drove Adam over there, and they was making him sound like he was just some aggressive bulldog that was a killer. But now I'm starting to get a little aggravated because he's not giving me my phone. But I know he got a gun, so I'm not about to be aggressive. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. All right, well, let me get my phone back. I made that gesture like, yeah, let me get my phone back. I don't know what y'all got going on. And I said it just like that. Brian was like, no, hold up. Never know, bro. You might be the police. So now I'm like, yeah, I'm not the police, but you tripping. I'm going to need you to give me my phone. I looked to Angel, and I said, Angel, tell him I'm not the police. She laughed. She did a little, like a smirk or some type of laugh or something like, And I look at her like, oh, you tripping. You need to tell him I'm not the police and get my phone back. These your people. She like, this when she looked at me and said, well, there ain't really nothing I can do now. He here. Who is he? That's what I said. Who is he? Like, what do you mean by that? I just didn't understand the statement she made. And she got up. Angel got up and walked in her room. So now at this point, I don't feel like I'm tripping. Like, I feel like, okay, you're not trying to give me my phone back. I was kind of threw off about that. Like, I need to get my phone and I need to leave because I don't know what he on. Angel goes into her room. Ron goes into her room. They close the door. That was weird to me. Like, yeah, bro, but you can keep my phone back. And he was like, no, I'm not giving you your phone back. So it's like more than once he done told me he not giving me my phone back. I don't know if he gave my phone to Tony to hold or if he tucked it in the couch by her. I'm not scared yet. I'm feeling weird, though. So I looked back at the door to see if it was locked. I'm just about to leave. He was like, yeah, I don't think you want to do that. I made a motion like this. I got up out my seat a little bit. And when he said it, it made me sit back down. What you mean? He was like, yeah, I don't think you want to do that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I got somebody outside. He's like, you ever been in a situation? He said something of the nature. You ever been in a situation where you don't know what's really going on? You talking too much? And I'm like, nah, I haven't. So I asked him for my phone again. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. He's like, you're not going anywhere. He said something of the nature. I got my kids at home. And if you got kids, you're not going to make it to see your kids tonight. And at that time, that's when he pulled the gun out. Adam gets up, and as he's walking, he was like, you should have just left. You should have just left. Now I'm scared. And Brian pulling his gun out, that's on him. That gun was never on Tony. Brian had that gun on him, on his person. He pulled it out. I look over, I see Adam with his gun out, pointed at me. Tony's sitting there, quiet. She's still on her phone. She hasn't even taken it down. Brian looks over at Adam. And in him looking over at Adam, I lunged for the gun on the table. But his attention instantly turned back to me, reaching for the gun. We fighting over this gun. He throwing punches at me. I'm screaming, I'm not the police. I'm not the police. We fighting over the gun. This table gets flipped this way. Tony gets up. moves over here. He got his hand on it. I got my hand on it. We throwing punches at each other. He kind of getting over on me. I don't know how he got me to the ground, but this is when he bit me in my face. I didn't let go. Then he calls Adam. They pistol with me. Adam hit me in the head with the pistol, and the gun went off. I'm fighting as bad as I basically could. Like I don't want to die. Like this dude, he straddled me. He got this gun in my head. I'm like trying to jolt him off of me, if that makes sense. I'm flopping around like a fish on the ground, basically. As I'm getting up to raise up, Adam clocks me over the top of the head with the pistol, like at least maybe 3 times. I instantly start bleeding. On the second one, I don't know if his finger was on the trigger when he did it. The gun went off. When that gun went off, Adam kind of stepped back. Brian still got a hold of my wrist in the gun. I ended up like getting it from him. Now I'm like laying on my back now, and I'm looking this way, and I see a male come from here. I got hit with a machete.
Are y'all exhausted? Keep listening.
From here to here, and then I also have a mark here where it kind of skipped because of my belt. So now I have the gun. Tony lunged at me. I don't know if she was trying to take it and she didn't see me get the gun from Brian. I shot 3 times. I don't know if she was trying to help him, but as she's reaching down, I let 2 shots off. And I guess the 2 shots that I let off, they hit her here and she spent. And as I'm coming up, I shot again. All my shots came this way. She was trying to help Brian get the gun from me. The best way I could show you is if I demonstrate it. I'm on the ground. I got the gun from Brian. Brian jolts that way because I got the gun now. She's reaching down for the gun, and I let 2 shots off. Boom, boom. And it turns her that way. But I'm getting up at the same time. Quickly, and then that's when I shot. It went downward. I didn't have time to do anything but that. They were in there, excuse my French, kicking my ass. I didn't have a gun. They brought guns. They had machete. I don't know why this happened. I don't know. I didn't start it. I could have never started it. I didn't have a gun. I wasn't out to kill the whole household. I could have shot more times, but I chose not to. I ran some train tracks and some wooded areas. I just kept running and running and running until I came to like a junkyard of some sort. And I just hid out till the next morning.
All right. Are you done with your direct examination? Go ahead and take a seat.
All right. So after Quinton finishes his testimony, the state says something about a piece of evidence, but the audio didn't pick it up, so we don't know what they said.
Well, then we all better go back in here in the jury room. We're going in the back room for a minute.
All of us?
Yes, you represent yourself, so you can be part of this.
And when they get back from that break, the judge says she's putting the trial on hold.
Mr. Nixon by the state of Ohio, after discussing with the parties in chambers, we believe it would be best suited to halt that testimony.
So there's no cross-examination. We just have to wait until November 5th before they come back and tell us what's going on. But before court lets out, the judge does let Quinton call another witness. And that witness is an officer who interviewed Quinton the day he was arrested. And during cross-examination, the state asked that officer about those machete cuts.
During that interview, you and Detective Hornacek was present as well, correct?
Correct.
During that interview, you asked the defendant about his injuries, is that correct?
Correct.
And during that time, he let you know about his injuries, isn't that correct?
He did.
He told you about a bite mark on his face and injuries on or about his head, correct?
He did.
At any time, this defendant never once stated that he was cut by a machete, isn't that correct?
That's correct.
And he never once showed you an injury from a machete, isn't that correct?
Correct.
So that's it. We have to wait a month to figure out what's going to happen in this case. But you got to tell me, how are you feeling about Quinton's testimony? Is it believable or not?